Rondell Hunt in 2018, when he was 22 years old, showed us that he was going to be the next big powerlifter. He had the potential to become the next GOAT. His potential was just insane, unlimited. However, we were unable to see Rondell Hunt's kind of career in the IPF. He finally returned this year after 7 years of not being able to compete in the IPF due to political issues, really. And this was a great injustice. We have been robbed of an insane career that Rondell Hunt could have had. And it was such a big shame. I'm making a documentary about this whole Rondell Hunt situation because this is terrible. Someone who was looking so strong in training wasn't able to compete in the IPF, even though he would have dominated his weight class. Now, Rondell Hunt had potential. He had a lot of potential. There are very, very few people that have had more potential than Rondell Hunt in powerlifting. However, Agata Sitko is someone that has infinitely more potential than Rondell Hunt had. She is already so strong. I think she's only 23 years old. She is a world champion. She's won Sheffield twice, which shouldn't be possible. There is an argument to suggest that she is the greatest powerlifter of all time. She is so dominant. Her name is the Terminator because she literally can do whatever she wants. She is in the process currently of moving between weight classes, deciding what she wants to do. She looks completely unstoppable. By the way, before we get into the kind of terrible situation, let me first apologize for being away for so long. It's been maybe 2-3 months since I last posted a video, and I am so sorry about that. I mean, it just takes so long to edit the videos and I've been so busy. However, hopefully I'm going to be consistent. I plan on posting a video every day for the foreseeable future, but I don't know. But I had to return to really bring light onto this news of Agata Sitko because I don't think people understand. This is massive news. Like, it is crazy news. But yeah, hopefully I'm back. Thank you for all of the people that reached out and said, where is Powerlifting Nation? I mean, that really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. But let's get into Agata Sitko. Agata Sitko, she announced a couple of days ago that she has been suspended from the IPF. We're going to get into how long for. We're going to get into the reason first. So what happened was Agata Sitko got her place for the World Games. Obviously, she got her place for the World Games. And she sent off her application, blah, 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 for the World Games. And in June, and everything she thought was pretty normal. By the way, Agata competes for Poland. However, Agata found out that in June, she couldn't bring her coach. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Powell, but I'm just going to say her coach because I don't really want to butcher his name so many times. But basically, the Powerlifting Federation said that they didn't need Agata's coach with them at the World Games. And previously at all of the big international competitions, they have brought Agata's coach along for the ride, along as part of the coaching staff. And so Agata has had her coach, who she has a very close and trusting relationship with. So Agata could bring him to all of her big competitions. But without any warning, basically the Polish Federation, Powerlifting Federation, said that Agata's coach wasn't going to be part of the crew going to the World Games. Now, Agata and her coach were upset with this decision. This was mainly because they didn't give Agata or her coach a warning to say that they were thinking of not bringing her coach along. Because if they had kind of warned her that they were considering this, Agata said that her coach could have suggested that he would pay for his own travel to the World Games in China, and so he wouldn't even be a financial burden to the Polish Federation. But Agata just kind of heard through the grapevine that in June that her coach wouldn't be able to go to the World Games, and this wasn't good for Agata. Agata really, really relies on her coach. She really trusts her coach, and so she decided to withdraw from the World Games. She decided it wasn't worth going to the World Games without her coach. I don't know. I think an athlete should be able to make that decision. And then Agata sent a message to the Polish Federation saying that the reason why she didn't want to compete was essentially because she wasn't confident in the coaching staff in Poland, because it didn't include her coach, which is fair enough. But then the Polish Federation basically said that they rejected her argument, they didn't think it was valid, and they removed her license to compete in any IPF competition. And this is insane. So she's basically suspended. Just editing the video, and I think I didn't really make my point clear. The reason why Agata got suspended was because she didn't compete at the World Games. And they wanted her to compete at the World Games. And Poland basically has a rule that there is a chance that if you don't compete at a major games for Poland, then you may get suspended. There's a chance you'll get suspended. But Agata didn't think she would get suspended. And yeah, I don't know. Personally, for me, I don't know the whole story, but personally, for me, it seems clear that it should be up to Agata whether she competes at the World Games. So yeah, that's the reason she got suspended. And then at the end of this Instagram clip where she explained this whole situation, she said that she can't really even appeal this judgment until 6 months after she has got suspended, after her license has been removed, which basically means she can't compete for at least the next 6 months until she can go and try and get it again. Which is terrible, because Agata expressed that this probably means she won't be able to go to Sheffield, because Sheffield is in the next 6 months. And this is bad for powerlifting. First of all, because it could be 6 months, but it could also be a situation where, a Rondell situation where this suspension just continues. It seems like the Polish Federation doesn't like Agata or her coach. And so maybe we could see Agata being banned for an extended period of time, even longer than 6 months, which would just be insane. So I really, really hope that this doesn't happen. But also, even these 6 months, we're getting robbed of prime Agata Sitko. She had big plans for the next 6 months at the World Games, which she isn't able to compete at, and at Sheffield. She was planning to basically do a 10 times bodyweight total, I believe, and break some world records in different weight classes. But this is also very bad for Agata, because Agata is pretty much the only powerlifter in the whole world which is a actual professional powerlifter. What do I mean by that? Well, her income isn't coaching, it's not sponsorships. Her primary income is prize money, which is insane for a powerlifter, because literally the only way that could be the case is if you are able to place well at Sheffield. And Agata is able to do that. She is able to compete so frequently and win so many different events because she's so dominant that she can actually make a living from powerlifting and do it full time. But if she's not able to compete at Sheffield, she is going to be losing out on a significant amount of her yearly income. So yeah, overall, this is a massive shame for powerlifting in general. But now we have a couple of talking points. So first of all, this isn't good for powerlifting because, like I said, Agata is going to be a legend no matter what she does in the next few years. I mean, she's just so strong. And so maybe this will push her out of the IPF. She has, I believe, talked about maybe going on to the unnatty side or trying other sports. And maybe this will be the trigger to make her move. We don't know. Or if the suspension gets bigger, maybe she'll decide to do something else. And we will be robbed of a great, great powerlifter because of this decision by the Polish Federation. Also, this situation kind of does give me flashbacks to the Rondell Hunt situation. Why? Because from the Instagram clip that Agata posted with her coach, it seems like the Polish Federation doesn't like Agata, which is just very mind-blowing to me, because I would just assume that the Federation would like their most dominant, crazy lifter. However, in fact, they don't like Agata, and this is similar to the Rondell situation. The Trinidad and Tobago Federation, at least for some time, didn't like Rondell, and this kind of did cause some issues with the suspension. It probably caused him to have a more prolonged suspension than he could have. And I think that this might be a problem with the countries which maybe don't have as big a legacy in the sport and maybe only have one big name in their federation that is getting a lot of medals internationally. I think maybe there is a chance that the federations maybe don't like the fact that these big names may think that they are bigger than the federation and can do what they want, and so they decide to kind of really be harsh on them to kind of show that we are the people in charge and we can do what we want. And I don't know, I don't think that this is a good thing. I think that they should really support these people that are doing big things for the sport, growing the sport in the country. But I don't know, I think there's probably egos involved. Agata even mentioned that a lot of people behind her back in the federation were saying that she was doping. I'm not going to expand on that, but that was an interesting point to me. And also people in the federation had been accusing Agata's coach of a few things, but he was annoyed that no one had actually put up an official statement against him so he could defend himself. He just heard a lot of rumors and bad things about him. So overall, this is a really bad situation. The main takeaways are that Agata, I really hope that this suspension is 6 months, hopefully way, way less. Hopefully some way they can figure it out. But I really hope that it's 6 months and then she's able to compete. This is a massive shame. We're missing out on Agata, which is just terrible. She is such an exciting lifter to watch, and it's such a big shame. Hopefully she can sort out the issues and we can still see her compete. But yeah, maybe the rules need to change whereby different federations don't have as much power and autonomy. Maybe there should be some sort of bigger court that Agata can do to kind of go against this ruling by the Polish Federation. But overall, a very sad situation. But that's the end of today's video. Thank you very much if you have watched to the end. Hopefully I get back to posting videos consistently. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.